Hello and welcome to another video from Parker Adams Boat Sales. My name's Jonathan Parker.
My name's Andrew Adams.
And today we're going to show you this, a 2005 Cranchi Endurance 41. And we're going to show you all the features and benefits that this boat has and some of the interesting features and quirks this boat has over other boats. And you might hear a bit of background noise today, but it is somebody grinding in the yard, so apologies for the background noise, but we're just going to have to put up with it, aren't we?
We are. The joys of recording a video in a working yard.
Looks like they're grinding a whole hull off of a azimuth or something. Nightmare. Yes, so bear with us. Okay, so here we are on the back of the Cranchi Endurance 41, and as you can see, it's got a very generous bathing platform. We also have a bathing ladder that slots all the way in under the floor here, and it is properly teaked, and we're teaked all the way through into the cockpit area as well. The bathing platform, as you can see, it's got easy access off from the rear and good side access, which is important when you don't have the benefit of reversing up to a pontoon. Okay. And as you can see, we've also got a really nice sun deck on the back, which is newly upholstered this year, and under here is a storage for a tender. So let me lift it and we'll show you. Can speed this bit up. Still going? There we go. With the sun deck all the way up in the air, you can see there's a very generous amount of room in here. Actually, this is a 3-metre tender, and you can see it's deflated, and that allows it just to fit in nicely. But fear not, you don't have to pump it up with your foot. There's actually an electric point in here, and let me show you. And we've actually got a pump, so we can inflate and deflate the tender very quickly in here. And this tender does come with the boat, and so does the pump. So another very good addition to this boat. And it's not very old, the tender. It's only within a couple of years old. And it actually has storage for a fuel tank to actually be mounted into the tender. It's got an inflatable deck and enough space for up to a 6 or an 8 on the back. Quite comfortably will push you along quite nicely. The other thing in here as well is once the tender is removed, the whole floor will come up, and that gives you really good access to both engines. And what's fitted in here are 2 Volvo Penta D6 370 horsepower engines. The engines are actually from 2009. This was re-engined and the power increased from 330 to 370 in 2009. So not only is it a 2005 boat, but the engines are newer than the boat, and we're on DPH stern drives as well. So garage access to the engine isn't the only access, so don't worry, you don't have to get all that out and get the floor up every time you want to check the engines. There's a very generous entrance onto the boat here, as you can see, but halfway along there's actually a hatch that we can open up, and we can actually climb down, and I'll demonstrate that, into the engines. And down here we can have a little clamber around, and we can check levels, we can check the engine for water and oil, and it is quite a generous space. You may not look it, but once you're down here there's a bit more room down here. There is a handy step to get in and out as well, which I'm just going to stand on now, and we can pop back out. So I also want to show you the side deck access. On some boats it can be quite restrictive, but on here it's very easy. I'm just going to clamber up, and as you can see I can walk all the way along quite happily, and all the way back again, and we've got grab handles all the way along. We can step down very easily, and also the other side, again we have good side deck access for this side as well. So both sides are very generous with access and very easy, and there's even a grab handle on the back around the sun lounging area as well. As we come onto the boat here, we can see there's the engine hatch again, but also we've got the 2 switches here, one for bringing up the garage up and down. But another one which is quite handy, you don't always see it on a lot of boats, is actually when you first come onto the boat, if it's suddenly night time, you normally have to clamber around looking for a light switch, but no, not on here. It's here for all the courtesy lights around in the boat. So as soon as you step on, we can pop the courtesy lights on and the radar arch lights on from here. Also, there's a very neat little gate here. And that just allows us and reminds us that when we're underway, that we shouldn't go beyond here, and it's just a nice little security feature. Also, we've got storage here for a life raft, and you can see the life raft is on board here, and it's a good access here. So not only has it got this one on here, which is a 4-man, there's enough room here for a 6 or possibly even an 8 as well. So a good use of storage here for the life raft, and of course, it being here, it's very easy to deploy in case of emergency.
So here I am sitting in the rest of the cockpit area. As you can see, although there is a really large sun deck area, there's still a really good seating area here. There's a pedestal here where you can put a table, and you can easily get 5-6 people around for a meal here. On this side here, you've got a wet bar area, and just under there, you've actually got a barbecue sink, and there's a fridge and more storage area there. Just underneath the storage, there's a Eberspacher heating outlet. Now, something that quite a lot of these boats forget to do is they heat up the cabin areas, but then forget to put an outlet in the cockpit area. So it's really, really nice feature that makes this a really nice all-round boat. That although you can just have all the covers off and enjoy the sunshine, in the winter, you're able to put all the covers on and make this a really nice cozy area. Now, I mentioned earlier that there's a table. What you have under here is a really, really large lazarette area. If I lift this up, you can see that down there is an enormous amount of space. The table is stored down there, together with easy access to get right down into the bilges and store lots and lots of things. So very, very strong on storage, this boat. Just close that back up again. You can see nice handy boat hook, put on the clips there. Upgraded Fusion speakers. It's got a really nice sound system, and up in the top of the radar arch you've got lights and also courtesy lights, which are operated, just as Jonathan said earlier, from a cockpit switch. So everything's really nice and accessible here, a good sized space. So this is the best view of the helm position. Now, I've put the camera where it is there because what you can see here is a couple of teak laid steps. Now, it's not just a detail. What you actually have is the ability to get access to the side decks here. So on the outside of the boat, you have a side deck here, side step, sorry, here. So you step from there, over the top here and straight down. So you don't even need to go all the way around. Although Jonathan demonstrated earlier, you have easy access from the stern, you've also got access from the side. I've not been on another 40-foot boat that has that. It's a really nice feature. In terms of the dash layout, everything is here. It's nice to see the upgraded Volvo controls that come with the D6s. You've got EDC controls, you've got Autopilot fitted to this boat, you've got a Charplotter here. It's an 8-inch Raymarine Charplotter. Everything is here, easy to hand, you've got cup holders, and it's wrapped with a really nice carbon fibre effect dash. So it's a good helm position. The other thing that's nice is that the throttles are in a good, handy position. Quite a few boats I've been driving recently, the throttles have been at quite an awkward angle right the way back here, but this is perfect. You can have one hand here on the steering wheel and one hand on the throttles. Nice, easy control position to be in. So overall, great access, great visibility. You might also notice on the covers on this boat were all put on brand new when the current owner bought it. And there's some nice little features here. I don't know why a lot of other boats don't do this, which is the ability to tighten up the covers from the stainless struts. So you can wind them up or wind them down just to put a little bit more tension through the covers, so that you end up with a really nice, very taut cover. If you wanted to drive with all the covers up, then making sure that the covers are very tight means there's no flapping, no bashing around. So it's a nice feature, lots and lots of cockpit space here, and everything laid out in a really, really nice way. Okay, so as you can see, I am joined by Jonathan here, and what this demonstrates is a really nice triple helm setup. How is it comfortable over there, Jonathan?
It's lovely actually, and you're saying that though, but when you're going along, obviously this thing will do 45 knots, I think. Yeah. It's a quick boat. And but when you're going along and you're hitting over the waves, if you've got nothing to hold on to, you end up hanging on to things you shouldn't be. There's actually a really good grab handle here, and it's cushioned all the way round, so you don't bang your arm. You can hold on, and yeah, so you can have your feet slightly at an angle, so you can push down, so you can really push yourself back into the seat. So this I think this boat's been designed around performance.
Yep.
As well as practicality.
So you can wedge yourself in there and brace yourself.
Exactly.
Okay.
I've noticed as well this seat actually spins. I don't know if your one does, but it's also got a bolster.
Nice.
So you can actually have a standing position. I think your one does as well.
Yep.
So you've got the option of a standing position as well as sit down position. And of course this one spins, so again it become an extra seat as part of the socialness of the cockpit.
Yeah.
I really like it.
It's a really good point actually about the bolster. Again, talking about comparing to other boats, but one boat I drove recently, there was not a lot of space here, and when you stood up, the back of the seat really dug into the back of your leg. Whereas being able to lift up this seat, the bolster on there is really useful. What you can also do is then sit on top of the bolster, so you've got several options. You can stand, you can sit in a more comfortable elevated position, or just use it as a standard seat. So lots and lots of options there. So here I am up in the bow area of the Cranchi. As Jonathan said earlier, really nice easy access. It was nice to walk down there. Fairly wide side decks, and then the option to have SunBathing cushions here on the front. Very sensible. You've got fender holders here built into the guardrails, which is a really nice feature. Something else we've just noticed is that you've got the hatch down here. You've got teak laid steps here. You've got a hatch there which gives you access down to the anchor chain, but there's also a wash-off point. So many times you go to a bay somewhere and you see the big anchors coming up, and they've got a great big lump of mud on them, and that mud then spatters its way up the hull as you drive down the Solent. So nice to be able to wash off your anchor here once it's lifted. So lots of nice space here, a couple of additional little seats on the side deck. It's really well thought out. This boat is obviously built for enjoying the sunshine, enjoying the outdoor space, and this foredeck is a great example of that. It's a good place to be, lots and lots of space.
Thank you, Andrew, for showing us the front part of the bathing area. I just want to show you the back because as you can see there's lots of poppers all around. So there's a big bathing cushion that can go on the front here, and we've got cup holders and a bit of storage here, so when we're laying on the front you can have a really relaxed time and not have to go up and down for drinks. But also there's this neat sort of cushions that will go on here, so you can actually just perch and take in the world from the side decks as well. And there's one on the other side as well. So it's really, again, a real nice sociable area, as Andrew was saying. But also, I just want to draw your attention up to the top of the radar arch. As you can see, it does have radar. It's got a TV aerial point as well, and of course the horns as well. But the radar, autopilot, all the navigation equipment this has on it, it actually lends itself to a really good sea boat as well. And not only is it fast and very relaxing to be on, it's also a good performance boat and a safe boat as well. Well, here we are then in the downstairs in the bow of the Cranchi. And remember, this is a 41-foot boat, so you probably expect to see a forward cabin. Yeah, but this doesn't. It has a massive V-berth instead, and it's a very, very comfortable area. And I think a lot of boats of this size which do have a forward cabin, the downstairs saloon area is actually, you just get quite a small curved settee, don't you? And then a galley opposite. So you don't really have that big sort of living room area that you would expect.
I think this will really suit some people that want that extra amount of space, because down below here, as you said, you've got a really good size area. The feeling of spaciousness when you walk down below is actually, it really hits you, because a lot of boats, as Jonathan said, around this 40 foot, they've probably got a tri-cabin layout, which means there's going to be an additional bulkhead right here. So that only leaves a small amount of space for the main saloon area. So yeah, it does feel really big.
And for a 41-foot boat to have the garage, that large amount of cockpit space as well as the garage, and then trying to fit in a forward cabin as well, it kind of makes everything suddenly very small. But you've not lost that on this boat. It's still a very generous space down here because of this. It does have a proper proper cabin with a door as well, which we'll show you in a minute. But also, not forgetting, this can actually convert into a double berth. So we'll demonstrate that in a bit for you as well, and we'll show you it as a double berth as well. So we do have two areas to sleep as well.
We were chatting to the owner just before we started recording this video, and he was saying that the way that him and his wife use the boat is that they convert this into a really nice large double size. They've got a couple of children, and those children then stay in the back cabin, so it's perfectly set up for both couples and also families, as the current owner proves. You can also see just on this side, we'll change the camera angle in a second to zoom in on this, but you've got a really nice sized television there. I would guess that's probably a 32-inch TV. And that's on the side there. You've got a fusion head unit, you've got access to the fuse panel and everything, really nice and handy. So if the weather's not great and you want to be down here, you've got large screen television. You could all sit around here as a family, watch a movie, watch a bit of television. It's it's a very comfortable place, and the Eberspacher heating system is controlled just here, right again by the seating area. So ergonomically, very nicely designed.
It feels very good quality as well.
It does.
Some boats you go on, you kind of get that sort of, you know, that caravan sort of feel about the interior, but here it just feels very good quality with the nice gloss finished table that's reflected in all the cabinetry around as well. The quality of this seating is nice as well. I like the sort of the extra stitching and the extra features that you get in here. Even things like blinds. So we've got blinds that drop down. We can just pull them down, and they're on strings, but because they only really need one to cover the window, they've gone, well, actually, it'll be nice to have a second one just to make it look nice. And that's kind of reflected throughout the boat. There's nice touches, even things like the three mirrors really reflect the light, and just makes the whole space feel that much bigger as well. I really do like it down here. There's two large as well hatches above us, isn't there?
A lot of light.
Yeah, and there's a lot of light coming in here. And these can also these have blinds on, so they can be closed off for privacy. It's really good.
Yeah, and just to reiterate that point about the quality, actually I'm really impressed. I've not been on a huge number of Cranchis, but funny if we've just taken on, this is the third Cranchi we've taken on this week, and I'm really looking forward actually to going through all the different boats. We'll be doing videos on the other ones as well, and yeah, it's really nice to see the differences between the layouts, but certainly from a build quality point of view, everything on here feels really nice. I'm impressed with the brand. So I said I was going to do a different view, and here it is. So this panel here, again, it's been really nicely laid out. You've got this nice sized television here. You wouldn't want any larger, it would really dominate the cabin, but it's perfectly viewable. It's in really good size. Fusion radio up here with Bluetooth, so you can connect it up to your phone, stream Amazon Music and any of the streaming services, so all of a sudden the boats end up with an unlimited supply of music. And then really nice fuse panel here. Again, really impressed with the quality here. Every single thing has got individual fuses. It's very well laid out, nice attention to detail here. And just down at the bottom is a great feature, which is a generator. So this boat is fitted with a powerful Fisher Panda generator, and again, all controlled here, built into this large control panel. So everything you need, battery voltages, the input for the AC power there, everything nice and easy to hand. I mentioned earlier about the Eberspacher heating controls, they're just there. You've got some additional shelving here behind where they've got the TV remote controls. And then, as Jonathan said earlier, you've got the blinds, and again, you've got two sets of blinds there covering up the portholes. Just underneath here, you have an additional fridge. So this fridge here is a bar fridge. So you can see there, nice easy access to go to an additional fridge there to keep all your drinks free. Nicely chilled.
Thank you, Andrew, for that. On this side is the galley area. And as you can see, it's a very nice, completely flat surface when the infills are in place. So we have one for the sink, so it's a round sink, and it does have a drainer as well. And also this side, it covers up a twin gas hob. So not only do we have a barbecue area upstairs, we also have a cooking area down here as well. But then we've got a microwave and then lots of storage. So we've got cupboard storage all the way along. So we've got 3 cupboards up here. We've got a nice roller cupboard here, which is quite deep and generous with space. A neat little drawer here. And of course we've got 2 cupboards which you can see, which are both, again, storage cupboards. So a lot of storage available here. There's a double electric point here. There's an electric point in the ceiling and an additional light switch for the galley lights as well. But all in all, actually, it's just what you need for this sort of size of boat. And I do like these infills. Quite often these do get lost over the years, but as you can see, they're here and they're intact, and it just allows you to use this surface neatly. Well, here we are in the wet room of the Cranchi Endurance 41, and as any boat wet room, it's not terribly large but very well appointed. I'm actually sitting on the full-size toilet. Actually, it's a full-size seat, and I know some toilets can be very small, but this is actually a full-size toilet, electric toilet as well. We have a really nice size sink here, with a shower head on a pull-out tap. But that's not the shower. Actually, to my left here, there's a fully fitted shower with an overhead shower fixed point, as well as its own tap on here, and even storage for shower gel. But we'll show you in the pictures in a bit, because we can't get the camera in here and get the angle. It's a bit of a pain. But we also have, which I can demonstrate, is a really nice circular shower curtain, which encloses the shower completely off. So we don't have to get everything else wet when we have a shower. And it is actually generous in space. It has its own drain on the bottom here, so again you don't have to get the whole of the floor wet, and that goes into a sump pump in the hull, and that will pump straight out. There's also storage, so we've got storage under the sink, and again storage in cupboards here, and again it's quite generous in space, and it's fairly deep. So we've got 3 cupboards of storage as well. There's overhead light as well, and a shaving electric point as well up in the ceiling. Also to my right there's a large mirror about that big on the wall there, so we can do our makeup in the morning, and my hair. And but again, it's quite a nice, a very well appointed room, and the benefit of being able to have a nice comfortable shower on a boat like this, especially during these times when we don't necessarily want to use the public shower facilities, is another added benefit to this boat. Well, here we are in the now made up front cabin, and as you can see, it's actually very cosy, isn't it, Andrew?
It's very cosy.
Do you feel relaxed?
I'm potentially a little too cosy.
So what we've done, we've dropped down the table. There's an infill cushion for the table, which is made the same material as this, which is your kind of standard infill, isn't it? Yep. But the owners have gone one step further, and they've actually had these mattresses made. And they velcro together, and they go neatly into the space, and so it just gives you a nice comfortable sleeping area now. And as you can see, with all the overhead lights, we've shut the blinds both sides, we've shut the door, and it's very private and very comfortable.
It's nice. And the owner has also said that he's had fitted sheets made for these as well. So I know that it can be a pain on some boats where you have quite strange shaped front cabin beds, etc. Bedding ends up hanging out, getting pulled out the corners, but he's had fitted sheets made up for this as well. So it's yes, nicely thought out.
And it feels like a very adult space. It does. And we've got that, still watch TV. Yep. And yeah, it's very nice. And we've still got stereo access. You can hear the stereo on at the moment. And yeah, we're really nice space in here. There's actually, I just noticed, have you seen in the ceiling above there? There's actually a little mood light around there. That's really smart. It's like a rope light, isn't it, around the ceiling?
Well, a lot of boats actually you can't make go very dark at night, and I know some people struggle to sleep on boats because as soon as it gets light in the morning, lots of light streams in from every area. But actually this is really good. There's only a little bit of light coming out from around the edges of the blinds. I think you can pretty much darken this off to pretty much pitch black. Yeah,
and don't forget this isn't the only sleeping area.
This is true.
We've still got a very generous second cabin there, which we're going to show you now. Absolutely. So here we are. This is your entrance lobby to your cabin. And we have a full-sized mirror on the door here. We also have a coat hook up on the wall. And we've got a very generous wardrobe with shelving as well. And also under this counter, there's actually a second sink. So we can actually do our ablutions in the sink and not have to use the shared toilet facilities in the main cabin area. And we've also got another small mirror here, which has storage above, and also more storage down here as well. But look, follow me through into the main part of the aft cabin, and there's actually a seating area as well, and there's actually more cupboard storage. There's another work surface here, so we can sit at and we can use for storage, and also 2 cupboards that we can store things into. And then as we go down into the cabin, there's actually 2 single beds down here, which we'll show you just now. And as we go further down into the cabin, we can see there's 2 single beds. As I've said in previous videos, I'm 6 foot, and as you can see, there's more than enough space here. There's a very nice headboard on here, and we've got cushioned sides. There's actually an electric point just down between the beds, and so we've actually got an electric blanket plugged in here for the colder winter months. And I really like the actual windows on each side. There's one on the port and one on the starboard, and they're just at a very interesting angle, and I quite like that. And they open as well. There's an overhead light here, and there is more lighting throughout this cabin. But the other feature of this is that obviously we've got 2 twins, but this is arguably the main cabin in the boat because it's the one with the door, and we can convert the front one. But you know, if we're just 2 adults, we don't want to do that. We want to use this all the time. But as 2 adults, we don't necessarily want to sleep separately. So this bed area can convert into a double as well. So I'm just going to convert it, and we'll show you. There we go. Well, that didn't take long, did it? And now we've got probably bigger than king size bed, and it is very comfortable at all stages of lying down. And I reckon I could almost even lie down sideways. Look at that. But yeah, really good space down here. Massive bed now, with the option of having a twin. Right, so just in a couple of minutes we've pulled the dinghy out and pulled the hatch off of the engine bay, and now we've got full access to the engines. So no messing around, there's no clambering around. We've got full access. We can check the levels, we can check the bilges, and we can have a good look around the engines. Brilliant when someone services the engines, even if you do it yourself or get someone else to do it. If someone's got good access to the engines, you'll always do a good job when servicing. Another thing as well is the pre-filters are on the bulkhead. A good way. This boat has now had all season on the water. He's been to Dartmouth on it, which is circa 100 miles from here, and back. He's done lots and lots of hours on it this year. It's been well used in the hot months, and the fuel bowls on here are perfectly clean. And sometimes people's concern when they're buying a boat is there problems with the fuel system, because it's one of the big sort of problems we get, especially in this country and others as well, with contaminated fuel. But these fuel bowls are perfectly clean, which suggests the fuel system is very clean as well. And the bilges are nice and clean and dry. There's no oil, there's no massive amounts of water, and generally they look in very good condition. And also you can see down in the corner here is the generator, neatly fitted, and again good access. We've got a water strainer there for it, and again good access to do checks on it. These engines, like I said before, they're D6 370s, and these were fitted in 2009. So not forgetting these were fitted then. We'll get the hours for you in a minute, because we'll just have a little overview at the end with some of the paperwork. But we'll tell you the hours and some of the service history then, as well as a few more of the extras this boat has over other ones. But these engines are really good. They're well proven now. He's had no issues this year, and it has been regularly serviced. I know, because I've known the boat for a few years now, and I know it's very well looked after. The owner really, if there is ever any problems with this, he gets it sorted straight away, and doesn't let anything happen. But from what I understand, he hasn't had any problems this year, and it's been very well looked after.
Right, well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I have to say, I've really enjoyed looking around this Cranchi. It's one of the first Cranchis I've really looked over and gone into a lot of detail in, and I'm really impressed with the boat. Attention to detail, really, really good. Great use of space. It's a different layout than I'd usually expect on a 40-footer because of normally having that tri-cabin layout. But I would say, actually, if you don't need the 3 cabins, it's really, really generous space down below, and you gain quite a lot by not having that extra cabin. Other things that have impressed me is just the attention to detail, the fact that you've got an easy place to have Liferaft. Down below you've got the blinds. There's lots of little features that I've really enjoyed looking through. The other thing that's really impressed me is, as a lot of people know, I'm a Fairline man, I have a Fairline myself, but on the Fairlines you get the little plastic pouches that keep all your documentation in. Now, over time they tend to break, and I really like the fact that on this Cranchi we've actually got a Cranchi branded bag, and this bag is completely full of documentation. So there are a lot of owner's manuals in here, all the documentation you want to see. It's surprising sometimes when boats change hands over the years how little documentation some boats end up with. They're probably in someone's loft over the years and have got lost. So it's really nice to see that clearly everything has been kept on this boat since it was new. It's all in this Cranchi bag, and literally every manual for every system is all contained within this bag. It's really good to see.
Yeah, no, it is. And even the original Cranchi Endurance 41 manual is here. It's still intact, albeit the front cover is slightly damaged, but it has everything in here you need to know about the boat. And when a boat like this is new to you, if you don't have this, you're forever wondering what switches do what, where things are, but the manual is here. The current owners had this since the beginning of 2018. So almost coming up to 2.5 years now, and he's loved the boat. He's only selling due to circumstances changing, and he's having a break from boating for the next year, but then he will be looking at getting a larger boat after that. His family is now growing, so he is now wanting the extra cabin. And but don't let that detract you from looking at this boat, because if you think this boat will serve you well, then certainly come and have a look. The hours on the boat is actually 549 to be exact at the moment. The boat is still being used, so that might clock up a little bit, but it will stay around that. It is now getting to the end of the season here in the UK, so it'll be little used from now on. And but we've actually benefited from a nice sunny day today, haven't we?
A nice autumn day down here on the south coast in Swanwick Marina.
Yeah, lovely. And well, thank you again for watching a video from Parker Adams Boat Sales.
Please do have a look at the other videos that we've got on there. Video walkthroughs like this are standard in all of our listings. We also do drone videos. In the next few weeks we'll be taking this boat out, and we'll be doing shots from the air showing how the boat performs, how she cuts through the water in Southampton water and into the Solent. So please do subscribe to the channel, and if you're thinking of moving your boat on, please do let us know. It'd be a pleasure to have a conversation with you. Thanks so much for watching.
Thank you.